What's going on with the Switch? It seems like Nintendo has made some bizarre decisions with their very successful console. The Switch has done many things that are right, but it also has some things that haven't hit the mark. From the Joy-Cons to odd software decisions to questionable things Nintendo is doing in general. There's no denying that it has revolutionized how we play games. Instead of separating your time, money, and games into two different worlds, the Switch has fused them together. One system with everything you need to play on the go or on your TV. It's united two different playstyles across decades of separation. It's become one of Nintendo's best-selling gaming machines. It's highly convenient, affordable, and has a massive game library, which makes it even more astounding that Nintendo is making these odd decisions. Here's some thoughts about the Switch. Nintendo has put a lot of creativity and thought into the Switch, and they've executed it very well on most parts. The Joy-Cons, however, haven't been one of them. Most of us have experienced or at least heard about Joy-Con drift. This is where the controller is registering inputs on the analog stick without it being controlled by the user. This is a big deal and has affected many people. Luckily, Nintendo has offered to fix the issue for those who are experiencing it, though that's not the only problem with the Joy-Cons. Because the original Switch was designed to have two functional controllers attached to its sides, that means that both needed to include 4 face buttons. This is a great idea on paper, but its practicality is questionable. Who plays Switch games with Joy-Cons like this? Maybe in a pinch these would be okay to use, although in most cases it's far from ideal, and has robbed everyone from having a proper D-pad on the left Joy-Con. From the company that invented the D-pad, who gave us this, and this, they have continued to make the left Joy-Con with 4 face buttons. Even having the option to buy a different Joy-Con with the D-pad would be amazing. There are third-party Joy-Cons that have them, like this one made by Hori, but it lacks some features including the rumble. Nintendo is aware of the situation because they put a D-pad on the Switch Lite. It might not be the most comfortable D-pad, but at least it has a D-pad and it works. With the push Nintendo is making with their retro games on the Switch's online service, you would think that they would offer something to complement the playstyles of those games. It's not optimal to control those games with the 4 directional buttons. It's true that you can always use a Pro Controller, but the D-pad on this isn't all that great either. Even if it was ideal, you need to prop the Switch up or buy something like the fixture mount to use it as a handheld, but even that has its drawbacks. It's top-heavy and adds another accessory you need to pack around. The 3DS has everything you need to play games developed for it, and for the retro games that were available from the Virtual Console. The Switch Lite is a much more focused version of the Switch console, having more ideal controls built in. Unfortunately, it can't connect to a TV, so Nintendo has us over a barrel on this one. It's just a strange decision Nintendo is making continuing this version of the Joy-Con. Why are there still Wii U games Nintendo hasn't brought over to the Switch? More specifically, why haven't they ported over The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD? These are 2 great games and really deserve to be played by more people. All the other awesome Wii U games have been given new life on the Switch, which Nintendo has relied on for game sales. Why not these 2? All the hard work making them HD has been done. It seems logical that these games would be ported over. They are Zelda games people love, and why not make more money with not that much effort? It seems weird that Skyward Sword was overhauled for a Switch release, and these 2 games have been overlooked. It's another strange decision Nintendo has made. Sticking with Zelda games, wouldn't it be something if Ocarina of Time 3D was made playable on the Switch? Without the 3D effect, of course. Can you imagine having the best version of Ocarina of Time playable on the TV officially through a Nintendo console? This most likely will never happen. And it's a shame that this version of Ocarina of Time is stuck on the 3DS with console prices being so high. Nintendo did the unthinkable with the Switch. They combined their home console and portable system, making all Switch games playable anywhere. It's the reason it's been so successful. The Switch is amazingly convenient and makes gaming easier. But there are some drawbacks to having that convenience. We no longer get the benefits of having those 2 gaming worlds separate. We used to get games on Nintendo's home consoles, and then get separate games like sequels, spin-offs, ports, and original games on their handhelds. When we got a new 2D Mario game on the DS, Nintendo made a new 2D Mario game for the Wii. The Super Nintendo has 3 Donkey Kong Country games. The Game Boy also has 3 Donkey Kong Country-like games called Donkey Kong Land 1, 2, and 3. The NES has the first Metroid. The Game Boy got the sequel, Metroid 2: Return of Samus. The Wii U launched with a new Super Mario Bros. Game. The 3DS also got a new Super Mario Bros. Game. When the 3DS got Super Mario 3D Land, the sequel was made for the Wii U called Super Mario 3D World. Sometimes games were ported over to the portable systems and ended up being the definitive way to play them. That's the case for Donkey Kong Country Returns. The 3DS version has button controls and additional levels, leaving the motion controls on the Wii. Link's Awakening was supposed to be a port of A Link to the Past for the Game Boy, but was given the green light to be an original Zelda title. This wouldn't happen now because we don't have the need for 2 separate playstyles. Though we did get the Link's Awakening remake as the counterpart to Breath of the Wild, it improved some of the more tedious things about the original game. This also applies to games that aren't made by Nintendo. The Mega Man series has games on the NES and different games made for the Game Boy. Just like the Donkey Kong Land trilogy, these games are different than their NES counterparts. If you own Nintendo's home console and their handheld, you got to play more of your favorite game franchises and unique games not made for the opposite console. With the Switch, we really don't see this anymore. You get that one game and that's all you need. You can take it anywhere. There's no need to make portable specific games. I know what you're thinking. Nintendo is making better games now that they don't have to split their focus. And that's a great thought. Looking more into it, maybe that's not exactly what's going on. Breath of the Wild is amazing, one of the best games ever made. But it wasn't intended to be a Switch game. It was developed for the Wii U. They did port it to the Switch, but it was always intended to be a Wii U original. We did get the remake of Link's Awakening, like mentioned before. It's a great game, but it has its own issues. At least we're getting a sequel to Breath of the Wild sometime soon. Look at Mario Odyssey. It's an amazing game, but that's the only original Mario game we've had. There are other Mario games like New Super Mario Bros. U, which is a Wii U port. Super Mario 3D All-Stars is a collection of 3 already existing Mario games. To give the Switch credit, it does have games that tie to other existing games from other systems. Metroid Dread is incredible, and shares a similar visual playstyle to Metroid Samus Returns from the 3DS, being developed by the same studio. The Switch is an amazing console that has married both the home console and portable gaming worlds, giving the ultimate flexibility to players. If you want to play at home, then you can play at home. If you want to play your games away from the TV, then take it with you. If both of those options appeal to you, that also works. Having that flexibility also saves money, as now you don't have to buy separate games for both play styles. But there are also drawbacks to this model. From weird decisions, to the lack of original complementary home console and portable games, and holding back games that should logically be on the Switch after relying heavily on ports. The Switch has shown that there are areas where it can be improved. Will those improvements be implemented on the next Nintendo console? They just might have to be. I, for one, would love to see Nintendo making those changes. Because right now, I'm wondering, what's going on with the Switch? If you're still here watching, sincerely thank you. It really means a lot. I know many of you have subscribed, but if you haven't, consider it. When I see that subscriber count go up, it lets me know that people like the videos I'm making, and that I should make more. Thank you again for watching.